Hello, and welcome to week 6 of ED 521. Congratulations on making it to week 6. You are nearing the finish line. As the sign says, the finish line is just ahead. Please reach out to me by email if I can provide you with any support this week or if you have any questions. Thank you again for submitting your proposal of research topic paper this past week. I really enjoyed getting a chance to take a look at those papers. I have provided you with feedback for this assignment within the assignment section in D2L. Please view this feedback before diving into developing your literature review draft this week. Please reach out if you have any questions about that feedback or if I can provide you with any support. The focus for week 6 is on developing a draft of your literature review. This draft will be due by Saturday, and then you will provide feedback of support to an assigned colleague by Monday at 11:59 p.m. We will talk more about this peer review process here in just a little bit. Another key area of focus for this week is around making sure that you have 5 original research studies that have a strong connection to your topic, that help to provide an answer and a response to your research question, and that connect to our program essential question, which focuses on supporting students and their families who have experienced traumatic events. Also, please continue to reach out to the library team if you need support with locating additional sources. Also, please continue working on making progress within the city training modules. Please don't wait until the very end of this course to begin that training. This would make for a very challenging week 8 of this course. So please begin that training as soon as you can. Here are the remaining assignments for this course. Here we are in week 6. We have a draft of the peer review of a draft for peer review of your literature review is due by the end of this week. Your final literature review is due by the end of week 7, and the city training modules are due by Wednesday of week 8, which is the final day of our ED 521 course. Here are the activities and readings for week 6. There are no readings from Galvin and Galvin this week. However, you may find it helpful to go back and review pieces of this text that you've already read as you work to put together a draft of your literature review this week. Please read Lambert chapters 11, 12, and 13. Please complete your response to this video by Thursday. And our discussion board for week 6 is focused on developing your literature review. So please share the draft of your literature review by Saturday. And this date was extended from Thursday to Saturday in order to give you as much time as possible to put together your draft. Then please provide feedback of support to your assigned colleague by Monday. Here's the first discussion board prompt for this week. So in response to this video, please respond to the following. As you continue to search for sources for your literature review, what types of sources should be utilized? And so as a reminder for your literature review, you are looking for a balance of qualitative and quantitative sources. And mixed method studies are okay to include for your literature review as well. And as we've discussed previously, your sources for your literature review should be no more than 10 years old. And this is also a requirement for the capstone paper that you will write in ED 590. Your sources should also be those primary original research studies that are peer reviewed. Please don't utilize master's thesis papers or dissertations for your sources in this course. Finally, please also respond to the following. After reflecting upon the course student learning outcomes from page 2 of our syllabus, describe at least one connection you can see between the learning outcomes of this course and your professional life. And so as you respond to this question, please share at least one connection you can see. And so it's not necessary for you to comment on every learning outcome listed here, unless you would like to. We are just looking for at least one example. Here's the second discussion board prompt for this week. and this discussion board focuses on developing a draft of your literature review. And so as part of this discussion board, you and a colleague have been assigned to a group. Please share a draft of your literature review by the end of the day on Saturday. And when you submit that draft, you are not required to be 100% completed with it because it is a draft. However, it is helpful for you to have as much writing as possible done so that you can get as much feedback as you can from one of your colleagues. In addition to sharing your draft by Saturday, you will also review a colleague's literature review draft and provide feedback of support. And so there is a peer review form to assist you with this process, and this peer review form can be found underneath the Week 6 discussion board question. Please use this form to offer your colleague feedback of support by the end of the day on Monday. Please keep in mind that it is helpful for your colleague to get your feedback as soon as possible so that they can consider how your feedback could help to improve their paper. So please be sure to share this completed peer review form with your colleague no later than Monday at 11:59 p.m. So we discussed the literature review assignment last week, but I also wanted to walk through this assignment and provide you with some additional information related to it, as well as an additional example of a way that you could format the assignment, and then also discuss the rubric. So for the literature review assignment, you need 5 primary original research studies. So please go through and make sure that you include each of these pieces for all 5 of your studies. Please include how the study is related to your research question, the number of participants, background and demographic information, the methods used in the study, the time frame of the study, key findings from the results section of the study that are related to your research question, and then any limitations that were noted. And so if the researchers don't include any limitations, note if there are any limitations that you observed, or note if there don't appear to be any limitations. And so please still comment on and address the limitations, even if the researchers do not. Finally, please also identify if the study is a qualitative study, a quantitative study, or if it is a mixed method study. It is really helpful for your reader if you identify the type of study near the beginning of your discussion of that study. As a reminder, you are examining, summarizing, and synthesizing your sources in a written narrative, and your literature review is not an annotated bibliography or a separate list of studies. As part of developing a literature review, you are finding ways to make connections and weave your sources together. And so as you are developing your literature review, please keep in mind that the purpose of your literature review is to develop a clear response and answer to your research question. And so all of your studies should be tied closely to your research question, and they should work together to provide a response and an answer to your research question. Please begin your literature review with an introduction section. Please note that your introduction section may be very similar to the introduction section from your proposal of research topic paper. Please be sure to view my feedback that's uploaded within D2L for this proposal paper before putting together your literature review introduction. Within the introduction section of your literature review, please begin with a hook, and this hook should engage your reader, and this is often done with the use of a quote or through statistics. Please also provide background information about your topic and discuss why it is important. Please include your full research question within the introduction section of your literature review, and also the full program essential question from the syllabus. Then please be specific and clear about how your research question connects to the program essential question. Please also identify the scope of your research and what will be explored in your paper, along with the purpose. After that introduction section, then you will move into the summary and synthesis component of your literature review. And here you are answering the questions from the syllabus about each study and also finding ways to make connections between the studies and striving to flow seamlessly from one study to the next so that it is not just a separate list of studies. Another piece that is really helpful within the literature review component of your paper is to have the headings within this part of your paper be your themes. And so eventually when you write your capstone paper, you will organize your studies into themes that point to an answer to your research question. And so it's very helpful to begin to do that now because these themes and headings within your paper help to organize your writing and they help to guide your reader through your paper. And so, for example, let's consider a research question that was developed within a different master's program here at CSP. And this will help to give us an example of how themes can be developed. And so here's the research question example. What are the best strategies for supporting adolescents with EBD with literacy skills? And let's say at this point, this student has found 2 studies that focus on vocabulary acquisition and 3 studies that focus on reading fluency strategies. And so vocabulary acquisition and reading fluency could be the 2 themes within the body of this student's paper. And these 2 themes would be the bold headings within this section of the paper. So the paper would begin with the introduction section. Then it would move into the literature review section of the paper with these 2 headings, vocabulary acquisition and reading fluency. And under each of these 2 headings would be a summary and a synthesis of the studies that fit under each heading. And this would include a summary component, it would include synthesis, and connections between the studies. I'd also like to share with you one way that you could organize your writing under each heading so that it's easy for your reader to move through your paper and so that you also include the required summary and synthesis pieces. So let's continue to focus on our literacy strategies example. And so the first heading or theme in this literature review is vocabulary acquisition. And there are 2 studies out of the total of 5 that fit really well under this theme. And so under the vocabulary acquisition heading, the writer could begin with a paragraph introducing this section of their paper and weaving information together from the 2 studies that will be discussed within this section. Then the writer could move into answering the questions from the syllabus related to this first study. And then they would strive to flow seamlessly into answering the questions from the syllabus about the second study. The second study that will be discussed within this section. And so one way to help flow seamlessly between studies is to use connecting words. So for example, the writer might say something like, similar to the study by Berger 2017, the study by Smith 2022 also explored, and then go on to discuss the second study. Then the writer could include a paragraph or paragraphs where the focus is on making connections between the studies that were discussed within that section or within that theme of the literature review, such as identifying similarities between sources, differences, key findings, and also focusing on combining what is true for multiple sources. So for example, the writer might say something like, the studies by Berger 2017 and Smith 2022 both found that, and then go on to discuss this information. And then the writer could dive into developing the next theme, following a similar format, before finally wrapping up the paper with the conclusion section. So for your paper, I would encourage you to find ways to organize the literature review section of your paper into themes. You might have 2 themes or 3 themes, There may be more or less depending on what makes sense for your topic. So please consider this week, can you organize your studies into themes? Are there 2 studies that fit well together or 3 studies that fit well together? When you have 15 studies for your capstone paper, you will be organizing your studies into themes to help guide your reader through your paper. So it's helpful once you've gathered all 5 of your studies for this course to begin thinking about your themes now. Also, please paste the rubric into your paper after the references page at the very end of your assignment. Here is the rubric for the literature review assignment. It is worth a total of 150 points. 50 points are available for your scholarly sources. And for your 5 studies, please make sure that they are no more than 10 years old and that they are primary original studies. And as you develop your literature review, keep in mind that we are looking for a balance of qualitative and quantitative sources. And those mixed methods studies are okay to utilize as well. 65 points are available for the review and synthesis of your studies. And this should be done in a meaningful way to provide a response and an answer to your research question. Your sources should have a clear connection to both your research question and our program essential question. Please also be sure that you include an introduction component and a conclusion section within your paper. 25 points are available for APA and mechanics. It is only 25 points for the literature review in this course, but it's important for you to know that APA and mechanics will be worth a lot more than 25 points when you develop your capstone paper in ED 590. And so one of my goals in this course is to provide you with a lot of feedback related to APA so that you are prepared for this part of the program. A couple of additional reminders here. Please be sure to utilize the APA 7th edition paper template that is available to you in D2L. Also, please be sure that you utilize third-person writing throughout your entire literature review paper. Finally, 10 points are available for submitting this assignment by the deadline, which is the end of next week, week 7. As you're developing this literature review paper, please be sure to review the syllabus and this rubric before you submit your assignment so that you can make sure that you've addressed each of the pieces that are part of this rubric. I would like to give you my sincere compliments for all of your hard work so far in this course. Please reach out if you have any questions or if you need any support. I would be happy to Zoom with you and set up a one-to-one meeting with you if that would be helpful as well. I'm very excited to read your literature reviews here in the very near future. Please stay strong, stay focused, and stay healthy this week. I wish you blessings on your week, and I hope that you have a great week.